When Dave Julian first invited me to review this project, we flew the whole line in a day and a half, looking at various hotspots. And for the first time ever looking at a job, I was daunted. It was a very difficult, very tough, extreme terrain project. And in 30 years, this one will be in the top 5 for sure. On this project, on the western segment alone, we had 179 access roads, which we call shoe-flies, many of which are required extensive work, brushing, road building, culverts, and that's just to get us to work. Then we proceed from there with the salvage. Getting the salvage off of this country is a project all in itself.
How much more work have you got to do here?
I wouldn't think we'd have much more than a week or so. No, maybe more than a couple weeks, maybe at the most. And then we'll be done.
How long have you been at it?
Probably 6 weeks, I guess.
That's not bad. Yeah. Making good money?
Just the usual. Not good enough.
So finally we've completed the salvage of merchantable timber and we're finally starting the pipeline. Then we begin removing duff to save the topsoil so that we can bring that back on cleanup at the seed bank. Then the equipment begins grading.
Ed Fraser is my name, from Manitoba. Actually, just outside of Brandon, a little place called Rivers. Hoe operator. I mean, just digging in the dirt, lots and lots of digging in the dirt. We make the ditch here for the pipe to go in the ground, whether it be through roads, rivers, whatever it takes. It is fun. It is fun. When you first start, it's almost like a ride at the fair, because this machine swings. What makes a really good hoe operator? Enduring long hours and expectations of being as good on the 12th hour as you were on the first. I think probably hand-eye coordination is probably the biggest. It's actually an extension of your hand. It should be the extension of your hand. So whatever you see kind of thing, you should be able to put the bucket there wherever it's required. Hardest thing to do, there's many things, but line crossings, river crossings, like example in digging in water, you have to overdig a little bit and you have to gauge how much you're losing as you're digging. Creates a fairly good living, yeah. Fairly, it's never enough, but fairly decent. Yeah. I have a Harley and a nice pickup truck and a few quads and Sea-Doos and sleds, you know the story, toys. We kind of think we work hard, so we have to enjoy ourselves when we're not working. One of the worst things about this job is you're digging all day, you go home at night and you go to sleep, and you're still digging. You're dreaming of digging. You don't get paid for that time.
I've been around this type of work for about 40 years. From the east to the west coast now, this is definitely the roughest country I've ever seen. You're actually doing the hills twice, you know, and a lot of them is winching. It's a challenge.
It's a new truck. It's only got 20,000 kilometers on it. Fairly state-of-the-art for an off-highway truck. You keep it clean and well-maintained so it's not breaking down on you on the side of the road. You look after it. Piece of equipment does your work for you. Dale Bruce from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a stringing truck driver. I haul pipe from a stockpile site somewhere in the world to a pipeline right away somewhere else in the world. Basically, we go a little bit slower than everybody else and pay a little more attention than everybody else. When we get off the highway, we got a radio that we call out kilometer numbers on the road we're on so that people know we're coming, and they're calling out so we know they're coming.
Turning in on Char Creek Road, headed off the highway. Kilometer 0, Char Creek.
Working on a few here now.
Empty pipe truck crossing the bridge at Char Creek. Headed up 32. As long as your truck makes the corner here on the bridge, your trailer pretty much makes it too. Yeah, I've seen bear, I've seen moose, I've seen deer, elk.
Yeah. Many girls?
Not very many out here, no. Oh yeah, this is way more fun than driving on the highway. No doubt about it. You can narrow road, picturesque valleys, views, roller coaster rides. Why wouldn't anybody like this? Can't imagine. Okay, I'm there.
The next activity is stringing. We load the pipes from specified stockpile sites onto trucks. They're loaded and transported to the right-of-way where the specialized equipment, side booms, which are peculiar to pipeline, begin their work. Behind stringing comes the engineer measuring crew. They measure every pipe length, and they actually shoot the terrain and come up with a profile to establish where to bend the pipe, and they mark out each pipe joint, where to begin the bend, end the bend, how many degrees, sag, overbend, side bend, and that is all put on the pipe for identification for the bending crew to come behind. A pipe bending machine is a specialized piece of equipment used only on pipeline. Side boom picks up each piece of pipe that has been designated for a bend, and they insert it into the bending machine, and that is bent to specification, then restrung on the pipeline right away, ready for the setup crew. Each individual piece of pipe has got a code, a barcode, as well as a written code on the pipe identifying the pipe number, the heat number, the length, the Shaw coating specification, and the wall thickness. We have various thicknesses of pipe and coatings. The coating thickness changes are for difficult road bores or rock hills. The thickness of pipe changes are for populated areas and or again difficult mountainous terrain. If for some reason there was ever an integrity problem, we could actually pull up our records and identify to the centimeter where that piece of pipe is in the ground. Each meter of pipeline is identified, every bend where it is placed in the ground. If you wanted me to dig up any portion of this 310-kilometer pipeline, we could come within a centimeter of where you would want me to dig up, and I would bet you a case of beer on it.
Well, initially we established the limits of the pipeline right away, staking for the mainline contractor. We established center line of the excavation or the ditch, and we stake any appurtenances, swamp weights, river weights, test leads, anything that pertains to part of the pipeline. In the mountain conditions here, a lot of times GPS just does not work with the technology that we have right now, so we bring in control with GPS and then resort to total stations to pick up our electronic pipe data. Inside the total station is basically an onboard computer that calculates coordinate geometry, or COGO. And basically all the instrument does is sends out a laser beam, measures the amount of time elapsed between hitting the prism, coming back to the instrument, calculates a distance, and then using a COGO program internal to the machine, it'll calculate an azimuth, a difference in elevation, and a horizontal position. There's a certain amount of excitement when construction is going full-blown, and you've got to keep up with everybody and stay one step ahead of them.
2704820. Good. Good to go now.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's not. At the end of the job, when you got to compute all the data that you collected for the previous 6 months, that's all done with our computer department run by Mr. Pat Frericks.
Everything starts at the kickoff, which is the origin point. It's the starting point of the spread, and that's your 0 point for your chainage. And then the chainage is the distance measured from the origin. So we'll say at kilometer 10, it would be 10 plus 000. Everything's linked with chainage. Like the inspectors go out there, and if they put in sand padding or something, they'll see it begins at 11 plus 200 to 11 plus 500, and they'll put that on their reports, and then we can take the reports and put them into our as-built. We collect the pipe numbers and the heat numbers with a handheld data collector, and I'll hook that up to the computer and download it and run it through some software and get it into some kind of a spreadsheet. I have fun. Yeah, it gets pretty exciting. Like sometimes there's 8 different things to do, and you don't really know what to do next, but the day just flies. Like, I never watch the clock.
My name is Roy Stevens. I'm working as the resource monitor on the east spread of the BC Gas Southern Crossing Pipeline project. We are tracking the man days on the project to ascertain how many man days are involved in building the pipeline. We're also, more importantly, tracking the equipment hours, specifically the heavy equipment. There are in excess of 100 pieces of heavy equipment, which we classify as dozers and side booms, excavators. Most of it is owned by Marine Pipeline, although a percentage of it, perhaps 15%, is rental equipment. That is, some of it's owner-operated, some of it is just rented outright and operated by Marine personnel. They truck it in on lowboys and highboys. They bring it in from all across Canada and even from the States. I would say that this is probably the closest type of enterprise to a military operation that you'll see in civilian life. It's a linear project that entails a great deal of engineering and organization and precision to carry it out and construct the job within the time frames, within the environmental windows, and as close to budget as possible.
I'm Doug Dank, Project Superintendent here for Marine Pipeline. This is my 30th year in this business. We've taken on a real major project here for BC Gas. As of today, we've got approximately 575 people on our payroll. We've got from our access crews, which fix up the roads to get to the right-of-way, our grade crews, right through to our lowering in and cleanup crews, about 20 foremen on staff. We also have a major rock sub out here, which is looking after the drilling and blasting, which is McCaws out of Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. We also have a clearing sub out there, Simcoe, out of Fort St. John. Between our crews and our subs, we're close to 700 men. We've had 5 weeks without any rain. We're fighting lots of dust right now. We've got 7 water trucks watering roads in the right-of-way to try to make the environment a little more easier to work in. We're also dealing with a very high forest fire danger right now, which is very much in forefront of everybody's mind. It's a very big concern for all of us.
It's the extreme heat combined with the dust. The conditions are so dry, the upper 6 to 8 inches is powdering. So it's become difficult for laborers, operators, everybody working on the project, just working in the dusty conditions. It is a very difficult and challenging project, and as I say, there really hasn't been one that I'm aware of built in Canada with this degree of difficulty overall. The terrain varies from extremely mountainous, very rugged, down into the Grand Forks area, which is very congested with businesses, greenhouses, private dwellings, and through the Creston Flats, which is a prime growing area. And we've had some special techniques which have been applied to ensure that we look after landowners and the conservation of topsoil. A lot of effort has gone into working with the regulators, both provincial and federal, but we've got some very well-defined, strict guidelines to work towards. And that's where the diligence comes in. The enjoyment on these projects tends to be in the front end, where the routing and the preliminary surveys occur. As you get into the projects, the nature of projects anymore is an extensive amount of paperwork. And that's the stage we're at now, is churning through the paperwork as everyone else continues the state of business in the field.
a skid hustler?
Skid hustling technician.
Pipeline, if you wanted to compare it to a factory type industry, is almost in reverse. Where in a factory you have production lines where the product is moving by you, and in the pipeline the workers are moving by the product, which is the pipeline. And as each worker moves by applying his or her trade, their work is finished and completed, and you leave that product in place, ready for the next activity. The main welding gang is a very large crew, very expensive crew, and they have to be very well organized, as all the aspects are, and get the maximum production per day so that they can all get laid off and save the company a lot of money. Part of the process for coating is the sandblasting. The sandblasting is required to give us a minimum profile, which will allow the coating to adhere to the pipe metal and not fall off or have any problems with the coating at a later date. The fellow that's actually doing the sandblasting, he has to have a fairly good touch, and it's extremely noisy, extremely hot, and a very cumbersome suit is required to complete this work for his safety. There's different applications for coating on pipeline. The one we're using here is an epoxy coating that we apply externally to the welds, and they're applied with a brush and a roller. And the epoxy coating itself is basically a two-part compound that's mixed on site, and it's one of the best solutions that we can find today for coating our weld areas. The integrity of the pipeline system is part and parcel with the coating of the welds. We can have a perfectly good coating on our pipe joints, and then our weld areas that have just been welded, if we do not do a very, very good job there, then our whole integrity of our pipeline is in jeopardy later on. Once we finish the application of the coating product onto our welded areas, we have a crew come behind and they jeep the pipe. It's a machine that we use to put on the pipe and detect whether or not there's any holes in our coating, called holidays. Pipeliners call it not a holiday, we call it a jeep.
So did you find any bad parts here?
Couple.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So explain to me what you do when you find one.
Basically the jeeper will go off, we just sand it, like I'll show you right away.
Yeah.
Take some 80 grit sand,
yeah,
just to get the sheen off the pipe, because this coating won't stick. to the shiny, so we got to rough it up a bit here.
Yeah.
And we just heat it to about 170 degrees. Got to heat the pipe, get the moisture out. Start heating up the patch stick, make little circles. And we just puddle it together, and it's good. We do about, I don't know, 6-7 clicks a day we walk. Because usually in the morning we pre-jeep, and then the blasters and coaters, they do the coating on the welds. And then we come back behind them again and check their coating, see if it's good.
You're all by yourselves out here?
Yeah, just Rob and I.
You get lonely?
Ah, no. Nice province here.
If you can visualize, here's this pipeline built and welded in a continuous manner and following the contour of the land, and it's sitting on top of the ground. And you have a ditch that's 2 meters deep. And now you have to physically pick up this heavy pipe and put it in the ditch. It's a real sight to see 7 side booms or 6 side booms picking this pipe up and placing it in the ditch. And each one has to be precise, how far they can boom out, how far they can handle it, where their load weight restrictions are, where the lunch pail is going to fall off, and there goes the thermos. And yeah, I can't take 5 more pounds, and those operators are extremely talented people.
One of the challenging features about this job is the number of watercourse crossings that we had on the project. Our most challenging ones were fish-bearing streams. We were given from the middle of July to the middle of September to complete 25 difficult watercourse crossings. Construction practices, say 20 years ago, were you'd come to a watercourse and you would just dig through it. And with the resulting destruction of habitat, with sediments entering into the watercourse, fish mortalities if it was fish-bearing. And over time we have evolved in the pipeline construction practices to a point where almost every large diameter inch pipeline crossing of a watercourse is done with an isolation technique. And that's where we block the water off and move it around the excavation area. We don't dam a river in a traditional sense where you plug it off with dirt, because that would defeat the purpose of the whole isolation technique and muddy the river. In this particular case, we used aquadams, bags filled with water, both upstream and downstream of the excavation location, and moved the water through either pumps or through what we've called superflumes. Superflumes are an open-ended channel that the water flows through. And the result of all this is that you're able to construct an open-cut crossing without affecting water quality.
We're contracted here to do the fish salvage and environmental monitoring work. So what we do is, you can see here, we put nets downstream and upstream. And we isolate a section of the channel and we move them upstream, keep it away from the effects from the pipeline. We took about 50 fish out of this one small section here. And there's still a few adult bull trout. We didn't want to shock them because the bigger the fish, the greater the chance that they'll be hurt or injured. and plus they're in a delicate stage right now, getting close to their spawning period. We've got a few out of here today just with the nets, and we've moved them out, and we hope to have them all out by the time they blast, so there's no effects from the aftershock in the water. We found probably a 50-50 ratio of bull trout and rainbow trout in this stream. Sizes range from fry to juveniles to the adults. We pulled one out of here about 7 pounds today, and we moved it upstream as well.
Everything happens at once in a while. You know, they went across this creek with a pipeline, and we, in pouring rain like we'd never seen here hardly before, like it was raining that night. The boys treated us really good, and we treated them real good. So, and we're more than happy. So a few times we get a little excited, but
who wouldn't with all this stuff happening around here?
Hey, you see 7 of those giant hose all lined up in here, and they put that the bridge or the pipeline in over here, comes in underneath here. You wouldn't even know that they were there. You know, they put the big dam in there, the Amphid Dam, and you know, there was just nothing. We had, I think it was 51 fish caught in the and put over into the other part.
Was Joe having fun?
Oh, Joe's loving it. He's out with his wheelchair every day he can get out, and like I say, the boys, they fix up the driveway for him, look after everything for us. They've watered our driveway, they've calciumed the driveway. We got no problems. We did good, they did good, and the creek, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's never been better.
Our attention is not just focused on creeks, it's every part of the right-of-way. We have operators building snake dens, for instance, piles of rock on the right-of-way. We also use woody debris as habitat enhancement of the disturbed right-of-way that we have. So our efforts are very much to, if we can't restore it perfectly, we try to compensate habitat loss through other measures. We're trying to grow into being better stewards, I guess, of the environment. So we're coming at it from a different point of view, not just digging a ditch and getting a pipeline in the ground. British Columbia, in this region that we're building this pipeline, to me is very beautiful. It goes from a desert scenario out on the west end to nice, beautiful, low mountainous topography on the east end. I'm always looking for wildlife and how we're impacting wildlife and its behavior during construction, and we've had a couple of events where crews have stopped and taken out binoculars and had a look at just a whole bunch of neat things that you see out in wildlife country.
Just the other day we ran across, Aaron and I on the way in, we ran across 2 cubs. One, I could have swore it was a Dober or a big Rottweiler in the middle of the road. It scaled that tree there in a matter of seconds. I couldn't believe it.
Saw a lynx a few days ago.
Wow.
Running across the road.
That's uncommon.
Yeah, you don't see them very often. They're generally nocturnal, eh?
Right.
So it was a real treat to see that. Saw some goats. So yeah, it's been a treat.
Yeah, moose, deer.
Saw a grizzly on the other side of the valley.
No.
2 miles away from that grizzly, you can tell it was a grizzly right off the bat, just because of its hump. You can see his hump and the silver on top. It was really, really cool.
Pipeliners. And I think they're a heck of a breed. The people are second to none, in my opinion, as far as being able to expend their effort.
My job, I'm foreman here on this mountainside, and Bill Shore is my name. The prairie pipelining is, of course, you don't hit hills like this or the mountains or anything, and you do it with a lot less equipment. And you average anywhere these days from 5 to about 7 kilometers a day. And we are getting about that in meters up in here.
I've been a pipeliner for 7 years, and there ain't no life like it. It's a great life. Why is it great? Because you get to live on the road, you get to see all different country, you get to see the mountains, you get to see the flat. Every job's different. On this job, I'm a hoe trainee, and in the morning you come and you check out your machine and make sure that it's ready to go. You check all the fluid levels and make sure everything's okay. It's lots of fun. There's such a variety of people out here that everybody's entertaining. Every day on the payroll's a good day.
Okay, these two pictures will show you over 650 years of the old-time pipeliners in one bunch here. Well, I started in June of 1950 for a company called Interprovincial Pipeline. From there, I continued pipelining to this date, which is 50 years in June this year. I often thought about retiring, but it seems like I continue following the business.
You having too much fun?
I guess you could call it that. You miss the camaraderie of the working on the pipeline, and it's just a way of life with us. We've traveled all our life with the business, and it seems like it's a little difficult to quit.
They are a group of people that is a close-knit community. They move from job to job, a little bit like a nomad or a gypsy. They have, over time, developed quite close relationships and basically are an extended family. And that's quite important because we are away from our families for such a long time, and we do rely on each other for our safety and our moral support. And I think it's a very unique lifestyle. I'm quite proud to be with them.
Gus Goodlinson from Kelowna, work for Prime Construction.
Hi, Jeff Scoons, laborer, foreman, Pacific Underground Installations.
Merv Schermacher, Fort St. John right now.
Willie Grant, Spacer, Surrey, BC.
William Warburg from Invermere, BC.
Hi, my name's Maureen and I come from Coldwater, Ontario.
Richard Franchuk, welder, Edmonton, Alberta.
My name is Neil Brown, I'm from Ontario.
I'm Daryl Anderson, I'm from Anywhere, BC.
Wayne Sheets, Oiler, Nanaimo, BC.
Mike Blake, Victoria, Swampwood.
Hi, my name is Gunter Bowman. I'm from Parksville, BC, and I drive the tie-in coating truck.
Greg Miller, Fort St. John. I'm a sandblaster coder on this job here.
Tim Gregory, Teamster, Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Robert Angelski, Regina, Saskatchewan, Jeeper.
My name is Lisa Nolan, and I'm a hose trainee for Bill Shore.
Oh, I'm Bill Shore, and I'm running the machine, and Lisa is my oiler on the machine.
Jim Carruthers, mechanic, Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Bill Shore, I'm the foreman of the job up here from Dawson Creek.
Ron Jones from Kelowna, BC, cat operator. Roy Frederick, Grand Prairie, operator.
Hi, my name is Noel Philippon. I'm a Pacific Blasting and Demolition of Burnaby, BC.
Cease Morrison, Kimberley, British Columbia, driller's helper.
Jennifer Eklund from Velikula, training to be an operator.
Norm Yoakum from Nanaimo.
Fred DeMosca from Castlegar, Teamster, as a bus driver out here.
Ray Grabowshinsky from Chilliwack, BC.
John DeFell, Hope, BC, driller.
Yeah, I'm Mark Cote.
What do you do, Mark?
I look after the lagging.
Gord Wilson, Justin, BC, laborer.
Lee Sprout, Local 254, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Aaron McCall, Rocky Mountains, foreman. Mitch Short from Winfield, BC, straw boss.
Wayne Boykin, hoe operator in Spokane Valley.
Tim Paquette, laborer, Port Moody, BC.
Norm Gilly, Hudson Hope, BC, Teamster.
Dwayne Thiessen, Lac-La-Biche, Alberta, operator.
Ashley Dick, labor, Fort St. John, BC.
Kane Follett from Dawson Creek, BC, dozer operator.
Albert Stacey, I'm from Kamloops, Alberta. I'm a journeyman. I run a mandrill.
Hi, I'm Don Bernardin from Winnipeg.
Hey, hi, I'm Kim Tomlinson. I'm a quality control for coating. I'm from Preston, BC.
Ken Alt, Sandblaster, Richard, Manitoba.
Curtis Duke, Workhorse, North Vancouver.
Jim Smith, Chetwynd, BC, Teamster.
Peter McLennan, filmmaker, Creston, BC.
Where you from, Clem?
Kelowna.
And what do you do?
Help with the retrod.
My name is Marty Martell. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a journeyman pipe fitter spacing.
My name is Jeff Danish. I'm from Grand Forks, BC. I'm a truck driver.
Terry Bradshaw, Clampman, Cranbrook. Brian McCall, Edmonton, Alberta, originally from Cape Breton Island. Working Strabas here on Peston for Global Air Drilling here.
Max Brandt, Fort St. John, welder.
Bob Shore, Humboldt, Sask, operator.
John Nesbitt, Silverton, BC, driller.
Darren Smilsky, welder, Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Robert Robertson from Dawson Creek, BC, Jeeperman.
My name's Remus. I'm from Cranbrook, British Columbia, and I'm a preheater for you guys.
Robert Jenkinson, Local 254, Treeherne, Manitoba, welder's helper.
My name is Steve. I'm from Cranbrook. I'm a laborer.
Dan Mosman, steam fitter, Vancouver.
Steve Titter, OE, Vancouver Island.
And what's an OE for the rest of us?
Operating engineer.
My name's Ed Bolrice. I've been drilling for quite a few years now and from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Trevor Cerny, inspector from Onaway, Alberta.
Larry Dreadheart, steam fitter, Surrey, BC.
Alan Pringle, steel fabricator, welder, Coquitlam, BC.
My name is Lisa Atkins and I'm from Calgary, Alberta. And I'm a welder's helper, buffing ends.
So what's with the pirate flag on the side boom?
We carry those buggy whips so that you can see vehicles in front of the booms and tack rigs. That's just
when they're coming and going.
their way of rebelling against society.
So you're the first guy I've heard that says this is easy.
This is cream. I don't know. It's not hard. Talk to the Prairie Boys. They're the ones that say it's hard. Yeah. It's easy. Sure. I got a 583K Cadillac side boom. That's good enough for me.
We move through this toughest country in the world with skill and grace.